Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live stream. So, special guest today, we have Blossom. I guess we'll call her the data cat or the AI cat. She's not really artificial. She's intelligence. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. I'm glad that you're here. And whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this after the fact, we're looking at the Artificial Intelligence Learn Challenge. So, for those of you that are new, it's last week. We went through and had a live stream where we looked at different ways that we can learn artificial intelligence using the challenge that's been posed by Microsoft. So Microsoft posed a challenge and they said, look, if you learn artificial intelligence in one of 4 different ways, we'll support you with learning material. And if you complete the challenge, we'll support you by giving you a voucher to write one of the certification exams. So that's a great thing. So if anybody is here, just pop into the chat maybe and just let us know how you did with the challenge. It only started this week. So it started on the 19th, about 5 days ago. And if you go into your Microsoft Learn, so we had a look last week where we talked about how to sign up for Microsoft Learn. We looked at how we could work with the Learn challenge that we have. So you should have signed up for Microsoft Learn. And if you didn't already have an account, and then you sign in for the challenge, and there's still time to join the challenge. So if you go to learn.microsoft.com, sign in or sign up for an account on Microsoft Learn, you'll see at the top there's a banner here where you can register for the AI Skills Challenge. Last week I wasn't feeling well for a couple of nights there, so I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but we still have time. You'll notice that because I did sign up, I signed up for the AI Skills Challenge as a Fabric Analytics engineer. So I'll click on that and you'll see that I now have this challenge active and running. So you can see that I've got 25 days, 15 hours. The countdown is on. And you can see here that if I go to the continue learning here, so I'll pop into the continue learning and you'll see, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Click on here and you'll see that I have a challenge here as the Fabric engineer, and you'll see that actually I'm about 51% of the way through this challenge right now. But I did run into some challenges in the challenge, and I thought I would share that this evening with anybody who's watching. Again, if you're watching it after the fact, then you can check out the first live stream, which is how to start the challenge, and then this live stream. If you choose the Fabric engineer stream, then there are some things to be aware of that I've discovered this week, and I thought I would share them with you here in this live stream. And the things that were happening were that in order to work with the Fabric technology, in order to work with Fabric, I needed to have a Pro account. And you can get a trial for the Pro for 30 days, I believe, but I exhausted that trial some time ago. When Fabric first came out, I studied it as well. So I guess, for me, this AI challenge is a bit more of a refresher as opposed to completely new information, but it's still very good. And you do get that voucher at the end for a free exam if you want to certify. And in this case here, if you're using the Fabric, it would be for the DP 600 course. Just going to grab some water here. Still recovering, so. Was a little bit out of it. So if we have a look, you can see again, you can go in, and when you go into the actual activities here, so I'll just go to the end-to-end Fabric activity here, you'll see that it's the typical Microsoft Learn. There'll be a number of lessons in here. As you complete them, you'll get check marks, but you can always go back. So you can always go back and reread the material, and you can go into each of the lessons here as well. So I can say that, complete the module. I can see that, keep up the great work here. I've earned an achievement. I can share that achievement. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop back, and you can see that I can go, and let me grab a module that I haven't reactivated yet. Here we go. So I was going through it. Turns out I have 4 different accounts for Microsoft Learn. So if I go in here and I start this, it'll just walk me through each of the steps that I need to know. So you can see that I'm working with, the introduction here, gives me information that I might need to know. I can go in, describes the architecture. So there's a lot of really good information. This is good general data engineering information as well in terms of bronze, silver, and gold layer architectures. There is a great book, and after this live stream, I'll put some more description things into the description. So if whether you're on LinkedIn or whether you're on YouTube, you will be able to see some stuff in the description just after the live stream. So you can go and check me out if you're in another platform. My YouTube channel is Learning and Technology with Frank. You can see the banner here. But yeah, so I'll put some stuff in the description. But there's a great book by O'Reilly on data engineering that I think is worth reading for anybody that wants to sort of go into the world of data engineering. So whether it's an AI focus or whether it's a data preparation for analysis, I think it's a really good thing to be able to pop in there. Okay, so I'm going to go in, and you can see I've got this information here. I can go in and I can continue to learn. Obviously, I'm not reading this very quickly, but there's a lot of good information in here. And as I progress through each of these learning activities, I'll eventually reach a point here where I reach the last of the learning activities. And when I do the last of the learning activities, I will have an exercise. So I'll have an exercise that I can complete and a knowledge check. And when I go into the exercise, this is where I ran into a bit of a challenge for the challenge. So it's got a example of what I should do, talks about creating the workspace and such. But in order to do this, I need to have a Fabric workspace. And Fabric workspace is tightly tied into Power BI. So if you're familiar with Power BI, you know that there's different levels of Power BI. You have the free version on the web or as a download, Power BI desktop, and you can do quite a lot with that. And then we also have Power BI Professional or Pro, and that's you pay a subscription every month to get the Pro features. That's not a huge cost. I think it's somewhere around $10 to $20 per seat. So that's very, that's doable if it's a learning opportunity for you. But if you want to get premium Microsoft Power BI Premium, or hence Fabric, the subscription there, we are talking a fairly expensive subscription. I think the cheapest Fabric tenant is somewhere around $400 a month, and it can go up to $8,000, $16,000 a month. And I don't know what your budget is, but I'm not so sure I would be welcome to be staying at home if I spent $16,000 a month on Microsoft Fabric. Obviously, for a business, that's a reasonable amount depending on the amount of users you have and the amount of value you're getting. The challenge is we're not in that situation, most people learning it. So you either have to have a tenant that's there with our employer, that's great, and they allow us to utilize some of the resources, or the best thing we can do is get a trial. The challenge, again, like I said, is when I was doing this, I ended up not being able to get a trial because I'd already used a trial some time ago. I was using it to prepare for some courses that are upcoming and also to learn it. And so what I did is I went into Extreme Labs. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Extreme Labs, but they build a virtual machine for you. And then you can connect to that virtual machine. And one of the things that they have is because of their partnership with Microsoft, they will allow you to have what's called a CEP, or a Cloud Express Pass. And what the Cloud Express Pass does is it gives you a username and a password that will allow you to invoke a Fabric trial or a Fabric environment. And that was for 60 days, I believe. So when I launched my Extreme Labs, I was able to use the account that they gave me, and I was able to get 60 days worth of Fabric environment, so I could complete this challenge, of which I have like 25 days left. So this is worthwhile, but there's a caveat to this as well. If you go into the Extreme Labs marketplace, you can do a search, and the Fabric Labs are really part of the DP600 course, which is part of the DP600 certification. So when you search for that, you'll notice that it's not very expensive. It's only about $65 US, I believe, except you can't buy it. This has to be purchased by a Microsoft partner. So if you are interested in doing this, what you would need to do, excuse me, still not feeling super great. What you would need to do is you would need to contact a Microsoft certified partner in your area. They do give you a contact here at Extreme Labs, where if you send them a quick note, I think you could probably go in the chat Monday through Friday as well. So maybe underneath the chat, you could do stuff in here. And it's provided for Microsoft partners, right? So you want to, it's something that you have to have a Microsoft partner, and they will, if you contact Extreme Labs, they will put you in contact with a Microsoft partner who hopefully can sell you a lab. There may be some markup involved. A lot of times the Microsoft partners will maybe even be training partners. So I don't know if they're going to be interested in just sort of selling individual labs, right? But anyway, so as I was able to log in, again, I have the now 59 or 55 days of Fabric environment, and I could go into my Synapse data engineering environment here. And it was quite nice because, this is some of the labs that you can do underneath this environment here. If you go into the Synapse environment, and if I go in, I can create, for example, if I want to create a lake house here, so I have to upgrade to the trial here. So I think I'm logged in. There we go. I've upgraded to the trial here, and I'm able to now utilize the account and start building a lake house here. So I'll call it Trout Lake or something along those lines. And now what I can do is I can begin the process of building a solution or following the labs that are part of the challenge. So you may not need to do this. You might not need to go with the Microsoft partner and the Microsoft or the Extreme Labs Cloud Express Pass route, but that's something I ran into because I'd redeemed a Fabric trial previously. But if you are if you've never redeemed a trial, you should be able to utilize your Microsoft account, and then you'll be able to utilize this trial in order to complete all the exercises. And what's nice about the Extreme Labs is they basically walk you through the exercise. So what you see on the Microsoft website on Microsoft Learn, this is the same instructions that would be on the Microsoft Learn. And the key here is really you're just going to utilize this in order to get some hands-on work. And the other nice thing about this is that you're going to be able to practice as many times as you like. When you're done with the lab, all you need to do is go into the lab, and you can end that lab, and then that just deletes everything, and then you can go in and you can come back to it, and you can practice different activities and such. So I think that's pretty neat. That was just one of my workarounds here. So I'm not seeing too much in the chat. I actually don't have anything that tells me how many people are here live or whatever. I just wanted to, the whole purpose here is for us to sort of share ideas and see how we're doing with our challenge here. And so with the challenge, that was just one of the things that I came up with. Other than that, I found I had a pretty good week in terms of, despite not feeling well for the last part of the week, I actually did pretty good, and I got through a lot of the exercises. I will also say that in my case, because I've done this before, it's kind of a repeat. So don't beat yourself up if you're not 50% of the way through. At this point, where we should be about 5 days into a 30-day challenge. So you should be somewhere around 10, maybe 20% of the way through on your individual challenge that you've chosen. And with that challenge, the key here is to make sure that you have a consistent work sort of, let's say every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, that's your time to do the challenge. Or let's say every evening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The key is to have a consistent schedule. And if you're interested in finding different study techniques or ways to make sure that you're on track, I do have a video here on the channel, or here on the YouTube channel, which is about the Pomodoro technique. So if you head over to my YouTube channel and just search Pomodoro, and pomodoro is tomato in Italian, and that pomodoro technique is a proven practice for sort of making sure that you are, concentrating for 25 minutes, 5-minute break, concentrate. Well, that's pretty much the pomodoro technique right there. So there's a little bit more to it than that. I have a pomodoro video as well as a pomodoro timer, so you have that. So a pretty short live stream today. I'm not getting any comments, so I'm really more here to sort of say, study hard. How are you doing on the challenge? But unless I'm getting some feedback in terms of people saying, hey, I ran into this problem, I ran into that problem, or people saying I've accomplished this or accomplished that, then there's not much for me to say. But I did want to explain that challenge that I did have, which was my case. I needed to find another way to get a Microsoft Fabric trial. And in my case, the other way was to use Extreme Labs to do that. And I have access to Extreme Labs, but because I'm both work for a Microsoft partner as well as I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, so I have the ability to access those labs. If you don't have the ability, the free trial should be the way to go. If you've already burned through your free trial from previous studying, then you may wish to look at the partner/Extreme Labs route. Okay, well, I hope that was useful. Barring any comments or anything, I will be checking the comments to the video after I publish it on YouTube, and I will be putting some stuff in the description, so feel free to share there. If, maybe it's 2 o'clock in the morning somewhere where you are. It's currently like 6:20, 6:30 p.m. here Mountain Time. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Keep working on the challenge. I'll pop in briefly next week as well. It looks like it'd probably be sort of small little, hey, how'd you do on the challenge stuff. If I come across anything myself, I'll share that with you. The real key here is hopefully this just keeps you accountable on your challenge. And hopefully by knowing that there's a live stream every week, okay, there's going to be a live stream. Maybe it's just a reminder. Maybe you don't even attend the live stream. Maybe it's just a way of reminding you that the challenge is active and you should be studying. Okay, talk to you later. Take care. Have a good night, everyone.